Planet Coaster 2 is here, and yes, we are late to the party, but better late than never. So welcome back to the channel if you are returning here to Champ & Sons, and welcome if you are new to Champ & Sons and our Planet Coaster content, as we are going to start a new park series here in Planet Coaster 2. Yes, it has been out for a while, since I think December if I'm not mistaken, and this is now the middle of January. But hey, Christmas happens, finances tighten, and this game is not free. So, had to make do with what we did. Finished up our last park in Planet Coaster 1. And so here we are in Planet Coaster 2, building the entrance to our new park, Austin Wonderland. And so, I know it sounds kind of weird. I might end up changing that later on. But that's what I was going with. Thinking of, was it like Canada's Wonderland or some crap like that? I think Austin's Wonderland seems like that would be a park that would be named in Austin in all reality. Having lived here my whole life, I can't say that'd be too far off from the truth, right? So, the entrance, and what kind of park are we going with? It is going to be a theme park, obviously. It will have a water park to it. I'm thinking six coasters for, I guess, as they classified in the game, teens and adults. And then probably at least one kid coaster with a log ride and stuff like that. Log ride, river rapids, that kind of thing. As far as theming in the sections, I'm not too certain how that's going to go yet. I think a lot of that may stick more with the type of ride that it is. I have a feeling... And it'll probably be just theming around the rides, not so much a whole area for the most part. I mean, I guess if you count the area that's directly around it, yeah, that'll be themed up. But as far as, you know, themed sections of a park, I don't think so. Just knowing me and my capabilities, and I've just got to say I don't think so. All right. Now, real quick, as far as this entrance level, so what are we looking at here? You're probably wondering why all these archways, if we only put entrances on those four. Essentially, the best way I could think of it is these would be additional entrance ways. You know, you see them at most theme parks. They only have a certain number of ticket lines open where they scan your ticket or your phone to get you into the park. So, basically what we did here was... I model this off a little off Six Flags Fiesta Texas, because normally when you walk in, you generally have half the little ticket scan sections open. So that's kind of what we are building in here, is that the part where that has the actual entrances is the half that would be open. The gated side is the half that would be closed. Now on the other side, you may be wondering, why do we not have any gates up? That essentially would be the exit. Now I know in Planet Coaster, you know, they keep it all the same, right? So you enter and exit out of the same spots. But I figured that the way this would truly operate, you know, probably is more or less along the lines of, you know, you enter in through the entrance side and you exit through the side without the entrances. I mean, that's the best way I could think of it, is exit through there. So if you got to come back in, that's normally where you get your little hand stamp and all that stuff. So you could come back into the park. Now, I've thought about, you know, maybe taking a look more at what you get with Fiesta Texas, as far as you have your initial entrance section, which I think really is more for scanners and stuff. And then you go into the next area where you can look at buying tickets, guest services, and all that kind of thing. And essentially, that's kind of what these extensions are for the most part. But I really just wanted to add in some depth to this entranceway and create some areas for, you know, a little bit higher buildings or so. And that's kind of what I was thinking with here. What I might do is go back to these buildings and actually change that. I guess it's the white layer. I tried to make it gray, but it really didn't want to come out being all that gray in all reality. So it's just one of those. Yeah, well, we're going to see how it works. We're going to play around with it some. Maybe, and we'll probably end up coming back to it later on, but I think this has turned out pretty damn well. Getting this entrance built up, it's not the most themed one, but it is fairly generic essentially. And if you know anything about Austin and their love for tacos, they will take claim to any kind of Hispanic heritage that they can. Mainly because we are a city of tacos, and I must say the tacos are delicious. So take it for what it is. That's kind of the idea behind the little, I guess, look of it. It looks kind of like you'd have at a cheap Mexican food restaurant. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. So that's what I went with. Now, putting into this building and kind of figuring out the roof style that I wanted to go with, because I don't like not having. I want to go with obviously the slanted roof, but I think they really need to come back with some of these flatter pieces. I'm just a little bit better. So hopefully throughout these updates, and I'm fairly certain they will, bring back some of these other building pieces to it that kind of we had last time, whether it be the roof or the corrugated iron. All the corrugated iron I could find, and this is like the deluxe version, so it includes the DLC that they have up to this point. I think there were 2 of them. It does include that. So with that deluxe point or stuff, the corrugated iron, it didn't have kind of these style of pieces that we see, and so that was one of those. I really tried. I wanted to do something different, but in the same time, in the end, realizing, all right, let's just stick with what we know we have as far as a design here in the building. And this is one whole building, one whole entrance section. Just stick with it. I do wish as I changed pieces that the color changed too, but no, I've got to go back and continually select the color and all that stuff. That gets a little annoying, but you know what? I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world either. So that's kind of what we're doing, is just finishing off these ticket guest service areas, just adding in some different heights and depths into the buildings. This is relatively simple when it comes to an entranceway. Now we are going to end up building a parking lot later on, and where you'll see in later episodes we actually start to build onto it. So that way we can get people into the park, as we know the entrances, like instead of the trailers or whatever that they have whenever you initially load into it, I removed all those. So I'm going to use the buses that double as entrances and exits to generate the peep generators. So I'm going to use those, and eventually, we'll build the parking lot out as we go within the park and use that to kind of help shape everything. That's kind of what I'm thinking with it, at least, and that's kind of how we're going right now. So I've already recorded episode 2. You will see in episode 2 that we've got a little bit of the parking lot done, going at least, and kind of shaping out the front and getting into kind of looking at some viewpoints. Where do we want some rides to go? And I think actually in episode 2 we get to the first little coaster, which I think is a perfect entrance coaster to a theme park. So here we're going to just start adding in some depth into it, into this building, and kind of just making some generic design changes to it. I think it works out pretty well for kind of what we were looking at doing, and it adds some nice depth and color to the building. That's really kind of the whole idea behind it, and so that's kind of what we are going to work with kind of moving forward here. But I know, as much as y'all may love hearing me talk over these, I'm going to go ahead and let this play out some. Enjoy the music going on in the background, looking at the building. Hey, if y'all ever have any ideas on ways to improve it or things that we could change, put down in the comments. Any updates, changes, or improvements you might want to see or that you think would look good, and we'll see about getting them incorporated into the building that we're working on here, or any future designs throughout the park. But I will hop off here, and then I will catch up with y'all as we get closer to the end of this one. So here we are now. I'm back, by the way. Welcome back. Putting in just these basic signs, which I really like how they did these signs. I will give Frontier much credit on the signage here and the font work. So it's not something that guys like me who aren't very good with fonts or creating those things and Planet Coaster 1 really kind of struggled with to at least put stuff like that up. But I think the way these signs work, how you can just slide them up against the wall like that, and they're not overly large, and even ones that are bigger, we can resize them. So I think those worked out really well. So much kudos to them on that. And so here, I just wanted to have some additional features in, right? These ticket booths, they will be open eventually, but they're just a general information booths. It's not something that people are going to be lined up for. You're going to see them lined up in the game for it. You know what I mean? Just not going to. So I did want to put in a little additional features into this entranceway, and I figured, hey, what a better way to do it than put in these little fountains right here in the entrance part, right by each ticket booth section. Kind of does help funnel the people towards the actual entrance to the park, which works out pretty well, I like to think. And I think they come out looking pretty good. I haven't decided if we're going to put anything in the middle of them yet. I do kind of want to, but I just haven't really decided 100% at the moment. So we do have those little water features going off right now. And then what I do realize, kind of looking at it, we have those people trapped there because I did put it in. Those are the same ones that, man, as soon as you delete like the path work that comes with each level, the people are kind of stuck there until you build in pathing. And once that got put in, dude, man, they came hauling ass. And now they're all stuck at the entrance going, there's nothing for us to do to get in here. So there's no point in us walking in just yet. That's what they're thinking, at least. I am going to come in, and I'm putting in a lot of lighting here. I do think that's one thing I'm going to try to do this go around, is really focus on a lot of the lighting at night for these parks. And I do think these so far have been, I want to say, better than Planet Coaster 1, at least with emitting more light and the way they do work. So I like how these things come out, and I think that's going to be a big focus in this next go around, or this next park, is looking at the lighting each and every time and making sure everything is pretty well lit. Lighting these beams that I'm about to do is kind of a pain in the butt, but it worked out. I hate that the axis that they're on, you try to fix it to go with the axis of the building and so forth, and it never really seems to want to work out. So old tricks from back in the day, like, all right, let me stick it to the side of here. It still doesn't always work with the perfect angle, but overall I think it does well enough, with getting everything lit up for the people. So it's pretty good there. Now we are going to be coming down to the final viewpoint here in a minute. See, this is what I was talking about, that little axis thing. I've clicked on that crap so many times, so now I got to stick it back to, do it again, and it's finding that right combination of clicks. That's all it really boils down to. But we will take a look at it. This is called Austin Wonderland. I will build the little sign off camera. In fact, you probably saw it on the thumbnail there, but it turned out pretty good. So we've got a lot more coming into the park. This was a shorter episode, mainly because of how fast it went, but it was just an entrance being built. So, take that for what it is. We are going to switch to the daytime view here in just a little bit. So, yep, there it is. So this is going to be the entrance, Austin's Wonderland. Definitely join us for the next episode where we do have the first coaster be put into the park. We have a lot going on here and a lot of different things to do. It should be a fun ride. So hit the subscribe button if you have not hit it already. And I will see y'all in that next episode, everybody. So as always, stay safe. And well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.